All right, welcome to the Poker Strategies Team Liquid Star League Round 2. This is Chill. I'm going to be along with you today, along with my good buddy, Day the Ninth.
Well, hello, Chill. It's a pleasure to be here. How are you doing this fine morning?
I'm fantastic and I'm sleepy, as I'm sure all our viewers are who tuned into the OSL last night. So I really got to say thank you for getting up and being here with us this morning.
Yeah, today is going to be an unbelievably exciting match. And before we do anything, we have to thank our wonderful strategy, PokerStrategy.com, for sponsoring this great event. To be honest, if Aunt Jemima sponsored this Star League, I'd be drinking their syrup right now. But fortunately, poker is a good overlap with StarCraft skills. So, good bit of fun for everyone to get a little bit involved in that. So, we're super happy to be here thanks to them.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, they've been really into it, really helping us along here. So go to pokerstrategy.com, give them a few hits, help us out. For those of you not familiar with the TSL, weren't here for season one. This is the biggest foreign online StarCraft tournament in existence. We're playing for just over 20,000 US dollars here. So this is a massive StarCraft tournament, and as a result, we're going to see some great games today.
Yeah, for any of you who are unfamiliar with this setup, we're going to be watching two best of fives right now. We have just hit the round of 16, so we're going to start things off with a little bit of Fenix versus Casper action. And then we're going to transition straight into Shaman versus Mondragon. So we get two different matchups today. No mirrors, which of course, for any of you who are big fans of the Pro League, we don't have to worry about anything like 10 mirror matchups in a row today. A lot of fun action and a lot of cool players going on today. Before we begin anything, we got to talk a little bit about the maps. So, Chill, tell us a little bit about that map order.
Okay, well, we're using the 5 TSL maps as we always use, and the order is going to be completely random. Today's first map is going to start on Tornado, a pretty standard map, and it's going to be interesting for TVP. We've seen it already in the TSL, and we're going to see it again with today's match.
There's some weird formations on that map. It doesn't really have like a well-defined center, and we'll naturally get to that right when we check the maps out. I'm interested to see how this map's going to play out because it's Tornado, Andromeda, Destination, Outsider, and Fighting Spirit is the map order today. And especially when we start getting into those that third and fourth map, that Destination and Outsider. That's kind of those maps are going to be pretty interesting, especially given Casper's unorthodox style.
Yeah, so with this, let's just jump into the players who we're talking about. What we're doing here with the broadcast today, as you've seen yesterday, if you tuned in yesterday, we're kind of trying to strike a balance between the famous players and these kind of up-and-coming younger players. So today, these are two players you might not be familiar with. This is Fenix, who is a Protoss player, and he's going to be taking on the Terran player Casper. So just jumping into Fenix, he's kind of he made a splash into the scene, being this unorthodox Protoss player, doing a lot of cheese, a lot of kind of all-in builds, hiding shit, going DTs, and now we're seeing he's kind of cleaned up his play. He's getting a little more standard, so I'm gonna really hope to see that out of him today.
Yeah, you must be hanging out with Artosis. I heard you say, yeah, he cheeses a lot, and you were like, because he went DT. Everyone knows that any DTs is the cheesiest thing in the game. They're impossible to stop, right? But Phoenix, even though he does like to do some sort of nutty stuff every now and again, he has pretty solid play. I've actually watched quite a few of his games, and since he's been in the A minus to A plus range, he's gone 24 and 22, and having a winning record once you get to A minus on Icy Cup is going to be pretty strong. And in the against Protoss players, he's 6 and 4, so not too much data there. But still, he was number seventh on the Team Liquid ladder. And he has winning records at that high a level. I'm hoping that he can exploit how solid he is against the unorthodox strategies I'm sure Casper will use.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Once you get up into that top 12, which is where Phoenix is, you get seeded directly into this round. This is round 3 of the qualifiers. So yeah, we're gonna expect that he's built up a rapport of solid strategies if he's been able to compete at that level. So yeah, I mean Phoenix is seeded higher. As you said, he's played a lot of solid games, and today he's going to be playing on kind of the more unknown Terran player Casper.
Yeah, and I actually was fortunate enough to get to watch Casper play against Dreven last week in the round of two replay sets. And it was really interesting to see him play. He plays very freeform, does a lot of these unorthodox builds, a lot of aggression. He really, really loves um, early vulture tank pushes, getting early drop ships. I was a little concerned though about some of the early game stuff. Sometimes his money would get a little bit high, and naturally he would end up spending all of it right away. But because he kind of went up a little bit, he kind of has some really weird timings in the early game because he'll be able to afford, like an extra factory and an extra starport. So I'm curious if he'll be able to pull off the same sort of antics he was able to do um, against Dreven last week, if he can do that this week against Fenix, or whether Fenix will just be too solid.
Yeah, let's talk about that a bit because unlike Phoenix, who was seeded directly into this round, Casper was in the round of two. He had to go through Draven, who was a huge monster in TSL number one.
Mm-hmm,
A lot of
mm-hmm.
people shocked that Casper could take out Draven, and if you watch the games, it's uh, it's a little surprising how Draven played. He didn't look like he was completely on form, and Casper, as you said, seemed like he's not one of these players who like practices his builds, grinds them out, and has all the timings down perfectly. He seems more like he's scouting, reacting to whatever, and as you said, freeform. He feels like, okay, I need these units now. I'm gonna do this. It's not like he's doing this build to accomplish something. It's just he's adapting as the game's going on. And those players, it's kind of a double-edged sword because they get a lot of weird timings, a lot of weird attacks that
Yeah,
people
yeah.
aren't used to. But on the other hand, they also are traditionally less solid than players who have grinded out everything that's wrong with their builds.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny, anytime you're in an intense tournament situation, I mean, like, for example, this Star League right here, it's an over $20,000 prize pool. That's probably some of the most intense conditions that anyone's ever played in. And you're not limited to just your own country with players you know. It's anyone in the entire world who's, able to play in this tournament, the best foreigners playing right now. So I think that a lot of the sometimes glitches we may have seen in players' play probably has a lot to do with how nervous they are in a lot of these series.
That's a big point. A lot of the players who are even famous for playing in WCG and playing in these big lands, these big online tournaments, still say during the TSL, there's so much money on the line. I mean, in StarCraft tournaments, we're used to grinding through like 64-man tournaments for $100, and in the TSL, there's thousands of dollars on the line. So these players are saying like they're actually so nervous they're getting sick. So that is a huge factor. And now let's kind of set up game one here. Take a look at the first map. It's going to be on Tornado in this TVP.
Yeah, and on Tornado, the statistics you'll see on the screen are directly from the pro gaming scene, so we don't exactly have too much data on it. But there's a lot of really weird stuff happening based on what the positions are. I mean, you'll notice if you just look at the map that there isn't really a well-defined center because of those little high ground pods right outside each player's natural expansion. A lot of times that allows Terran players to set up tanks there and push very quickly. It can lead to a lot of counterattack paths. Um, so, for example, Jill, in your opinion, what's an opening you like as Protoss on this map? Do you have any opinions on, or actually an opening for either race?
Well, I think it's game one, especially. That's what I'm looking at. I kind of want to calm my nerves and I want to play whatever feels best for me. So if
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
need to give up a little bit of an advantage to play like a two gate opening, and then so be it, because that's just gonna calm my nerves, get me into the flow of the game. It's not really specific to Tornado, but I'd like to see them both open kind of orthodox play that they're comfortable with to kind of dip their feet into the pool as they're getting in.
Yeah, and I know Casper really likes doing all sorts of weird, nutty counterattacks, and I think that can definitely throw someone off if they're in a game one situation. Because I know a lot of players like to do a lot of cheese, something weird, unexpected, just in game one to throw their opponent off. And Casper is like the king of vulture run bys and dropship harass and this sort of thing. So I mean, I'd hope to see some sort of early expanse straight into dropship build from Casper, if not just a two factory opening, because you know how much I love aggression.
I'm with you there. Two fact would be nice to see. And I'm really excited for these matches. These players are a little unknown, and that's what makes it so exciting because in this kind of foreign unknown Star League, anything can happen. So with that being said, let's get right into game one.
And here we go, everyone. Good luck, have fun. Game one, Casper against Fenix on Tornado.
Okay, here we go. Casper is at the top left position in blue Protoss, and we have Fenix at the bottom, or excuse me, blue Terran. We have Fenix at the bottom left in teal Protoss.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know this, Chill is actually blue-teal colorblind, so don't give him a hard time about it. But already right now, I'm not so sure I like these positions as Protoss, because there's going to be a pretty easy push that you can do along the middle. I mean, for instance, Terran, he can take his natural, and then he takes his second natural, and pushing straight down diagonally towards your opponent actually does a pretty good job of defending those two expansions, your natural and your second natural. So I'm already feeling kind of comfortable if I'm in Terran's position.
Right. The thing with Casper is he's not really, as we keep saying, he's not known as kind of like a slow push management style of player. He likes to do a lot more of these weird things. If he was kind of a more traditional Terran, I think he could just push right down the left, and that would be a really strong maneuver. But with these players, anything can happen, really.
That's true. We already do see a probe scouting out towards the center of the map. That's awfully early. That's right after the pylon. I mean, I know most Protoss players against Terrans like to scout after their gateway and sometimes even after their assimilator, but I suppose that, on this 4-player map, against a player who is as unorthodox as Casper, you do want to be checking things out right away.
So that probe's getting right in. I'm surprised it's not going straight for the geyser. We see Fenix up to 50 minerals, headed for the geyser now, making a beeline. A nice move by Casper to take that, knowing that the probe's coming to gas still. He needs to stop that if he wants to play kind of a more traditional, comfortable opening.
Yeah, I don't even mind so much not stealing the gas. Ooh, that probe almost took out the SCV. Oh my god, by the way, that is one thing you do not want to have happen. Game 1, oh my god, it's down to 17 hit points. If you lose that SCV, that's such an emotional blow right at the start. But enough talk about emotions. I don't even mind so much, taking or not taking the gas if it's not part of your plan. Oh my god! Oh, he loses the probe!
Wow, that was close.
Oh god, I mean, now I'm starting to feel uncomfortable if I'm Fenix already because, you know that there are going to be tons of people looking at this game and, even us making a big deal about it. When you're in the game right now, you just don't feel good to have lost that early scouting probe.
There's no factory yet. There we go. That factory is really late timed.
Yeah,
went up to 300 minnows before putting it down. I thought this SCV might make some sort of weird factory in the middle of the map, but not gonna happen. And another thing, if you're Fenix and in the foreigner scene we kind of know the styles of each other, and if you're playing an unorthodox Terran and you lose that scouting probe, I mean, not only do you feel a little bit embarrassed, but now you feel uncomfortable. What is Terran doing? Is it 2-fact? Is he siege expanding? You can't see how many SCVs are on the gas. It just makes you feel really uncomfortable in that first pivotal game.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because, a lot of the Korean players will, they kind of fall into these straight beeline paths with everything they're doing. So, for instance, the wall-in, a lot of players will only wall in if they're going for fast starport or if they're going for some sort of 2-factory opening. And what's really funny is that a lot of foreigners just love walling in because it's pretty easy to hold stuff off. So that even makes you feel doubly uncomfortable if you're Fenix because you just have absolutely no idea what your opponent's doing. You really can't make any assumptions. If I were against a Korean player, I'd probably be able to make some pretty strong assumptions based on that play. And oop, that first zealot now coming in there, probably getting a better idea of what's going on because you do see a few Marines. What are you thinking in this position, Chill?
Well, I think it's surprising that he mines so much gas. Oh, we see mines now coming in. With that many SCVs on gas, he had 3 on the gas for quite a while. I would have thought some sort of siege expand, but 1 tank coming out, more Marines. Looks like it could be some sort of FD build trying to punish this. And we take a look back at Fenix's base. He's going 1 gate robo. A little safe, but maybe a little too safe in the opening game.
It depends if he transitions into Reavers. I mean, I want him to transition into Reavers. Oh, well, he did make the second gateway, so I'm obviously disappointed because we don't get some sort of insane aggressive game. And it does look like Fenix, though, got the opportunity to spot that command center that was building. I'm actually going to double check that myself. Looks like he was able to check out that command center. Yeah, so already, that's a huge relief to know that you're not going to die quite yet in the match.
Yeah, we see Fenix moving out now with a tank and 5 Marines. The Dragoons going right up, taking a lot of hits. Marines taking out the Zealots. Good job here by the Protoss player with some good micro. Now losing a Dragoon. Second Dragoon reinforcing. He needs to start laying some mines here or that tank's going to get taken out. The Dragoon's moving right in to take out the first tank. That's a huge deal. I don't know why this Vulture's not laying more mines. And now the Dragoon's running into the main base. This is not what you want to happen when you're trying to get your expansion set up.
Yeah, Jesus, I was blown away at how much damage that Zealot did. Jesus, because, I mean, it looked like Casper was in a really good position, but something may have gone wrong there. Now, unfortunately, those Dragoons are cut off, but they're still going to delay that. Oh my god, did you see him take that mine out? That was so close.
I'm surprised Fenix is still making Vultures. The tank was queued behind a Vulture. These Dragoons doing way, way more damage than they need to be doing. Or than they should be doing. That Vulture scouting gets killed off by the Dragoon at the natural. So I think Fenix is probably going to go into a safe expansion now that he knows, like, alright, I've made back any disadvantage. I delayed his expansion. Now I can just take my expansion and kind of go into more standard play here.
It's so funny. I mean, at the start of the game, we were talking about, oh, man, what are all the things that, you need to worry about as the Protoss, because we couldn't see into the Terran's base. But now, if you're Terran, you move out with your first push, and it just gets crushed by that Zealot and those 2 Dragoons, so you're really in the dark as Terran. We were already seeing the turrets go down for Casper. I mean, he doesn't know if DTs are coming, he doesn't know if Reavers are coming, he just knows that there's 2 Dragoons outside the front of his base, doing way more damage than they should.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this Dragoon is doing. It could have at least defused the mine or try to do a little more harass. Running up to that tank, probably not the best idea. But we see Siege is finished. Fenix is going to, Casper is going to take his expansion pretty safely, put up some turrets. As you said, he has no idea what's going on. And looks like a third base is going to go down for Fenix as he just pushes in, clears some mines with these quick observers, and looks to just put like a tiny bit of pressure on Casper.
Oh, I'm a little uncomfortable about that second tank. It's pretty far back. Fenix might just be able to run up here. Oh, but his Dragoons glitch and they don't end up shooting. And okay, they're running up to the tank, and oh my god, this tank is going down. That one tank in the back is finally managing to fire, but this is not the... obviously not the most comfortable situation to be in as Casper.
Yeah, I'm surprised that that second tank should be up here underneath the barracks, and now the Dragoon running in, that's probably going to retreat, but Fenix is doing a really good job of getting value for his initial units. He really should not be able to do this much damage with these first few Dragoons, and it looks like he's really getting it done with them.
And yeah, and already we see that there is a Reaver en route. The robotics facility is almost halfway done with that Reaver, and that expansion is going to be popping up in just a second. Hopefully, he'll be able to get that kind of soon. I mean, he's already in such a good position. I mean, Terran's going to be really uncomfortable. And this is one thing I'm most interested in, is how Casper is going to come out of this, because most games, he likes to be the one who opens up with the aggression, the one who opens up dropping and doing Vulture harass. We do see 2 Vultures swinging around back. Ooh, they do end up making it into the main, and they plant some mines in some key positions. Not sure how many probes they'll be able to take out, but still, obviously not good for Fenix.
Looks like Fenix is nervous to come back with his Dragoons, and these Vultures doing a lot of damage here, taking out a few probes. Now this Reaver is trying to come in. Oh, looks like a mine goes off against the Zealot. Vulture's doing good to avoid this Reaver while the Reaver's getting in position. Now looks like it's going to be dealt with, Reaver firing scare. But if you're Casper, you're happy to have gotten in there, killed a few probes, laid mines, been annoying, and that gives you some breathing room, and you know that the Reaver is coming, so you're prepared for that.
Yeah, that's always good. I think both these players are going to start feeling really comfortable right now. I mean, Fenix just held off the harass. He knows what his opponent's doing. He did some damage early on. Okay, well, maybe he didn't hold off the harass yet. There's still a Vulture doing a little bit of damage in there, but now it finally falls. Got just a handful of probe kills there, but yeah, both players are feeling pretty comfortable. I mean, Terran got a good look of what's going on inside the Protoss's base, and this is the sort of thing that you really want to be. Ooh, man, we see the supply depot count for Casper getting a little bit behind there, getting stuck at 52 supply. But yeah, I mean, in any tournament, the one thing you're most scared of is just not knowing what your opponent's up to. The instant you know, your hands just sort of take everything over and you're feeling really comfortable.
Yeah, and if we look at Casper's main, if you see this depot actually blocking his ComSat add-on, I bet if you watch Casper replay pack, I bet you will never see that in hundreds of games, but you'll see it here just because of the nerves. And little moves like that are just indications of you know, when a player's not playing at his top form.
Yeah, that is a pretty serious error. I mean, that's one of those things that you kind of roll your eyes at, you know, at the start, but then later on in the game,
Reaver drop in the main. Oh, the Scarab going off. Gets a few
oh
SCVs there.
God.
Going on the tank now.
God, I was getting excited over this expansion that Terran was making on the left. Man, I need to just follow that shuttle around, just hotkey its screen. There we go. Now I can just press the F2 button and warp right there to the mineral line. Awesome. But yeah, I mean, that expansion at the left, I'm probably not going to talk about because it looks like the Reaver's still doing stuff. Okay, never mind. But yeah, that expansion at the left for Casper, I only think he's taking this expansion because he got caught up in his supply and wasn't able to spend his money. He has that very I'm ready to push style factory composition. I mean, 3 factories without add-on, 1 factory with. And I'm not so sure if he'll be able to push soon anyways, though.
Yeah, this is also what happened in Casper against Draven. It seems like Draven got kind of lulled into this style where, okay, I really want to kill him in the next 5 minutes. And threw all this stuff at Casper, and Casper just defended, took a third, and got so ahead in economy that Draven couldn't do anything. And if we look at the expansion timings and the worker counts at each, I mean, they're pretty much at the same mining capacity, mining around similar minerals. So if that's not scouted by Fenix, then he's going to get in some problems in the mid game when that huge Terran army starts to roll out.
Yeah, and one thing that's this is actually hilarious. If you look inside of Phoenix's main, there's one mine that's right there where all the gateways are being built, and you always want to be able to keep count on when your Protoss opponent's adding on gateways. And it's kind of funny that the mine happens to be right there, so that's such a huge benefit for Casper.
Shuttle coming out from the main of Fenix now with 2 DTs in it. There's so many turrets in the main and around. These DTs aren't going to be able to do too much other than maybe drop on some tanks, but it looks like Casper has no intention of pushing out here. He's got his 3 bases. He looks comfortable to just build turrets, keep units up around, and go for that really long-winded push style of game.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice in this scenario. I mean, again, if you look right at that high ground pod where there's the 2 Dragoons and the Reaver just blocking that kind of fat ramp with that weird chrysalis on it, that's a very easy way to push directly into the Protoss's base because that entrance is so narrow to the pod that you can just put some tanks there, force your way up, and then if Protoss wants to hit you, he has to go uphill. So that's really, really uncomfortable to be in that position. So I really think that Protoss, you know, after he clears out this right side of the map, definitely might want to invest in just taking a handful of key positions in the center so we can prevent that sort of push from ever happening.
Yeah, for sure. If we look at the main of Casper now, the 3 DTs being dropped in, just gonna do a little bit of harassment. This is annoying, especially because there's no academy and no scan capabilities for Casper, so he really can't do anything but make turrets and hope that Fenix leaves him alone enough to get up. So this is a really nice play, a little surprising. Oh, mine's going off, killing a few, 1 DT there. This is really surprising that he hasn't got his academy at this point to be safe. There's another DT going down, the shuttle getting picked off here, half damage, so a little annoyance forcing Casper back, but in the grand scheme of things, not that big a deal, just giving some breathing room to Fenix.
Yeah, I also definitely am shocked at the fact that Casper has not taken a second gas anywhere at either of his 2 bases. And we see 2 ComSats being added, but the main, as you mentioned earlier, is getting man or depoted. So it's kind of a funny situation. I mean, it's not so much that Casper's way ahead or that, you know, Fenix is way ahead. Game looks pretty even, but there's a lot of these little things that kind of, as you were saying, reveal the nerves of both players before the games.
Yeah, and that being said, I really feel like, although the build orders favored Casper, I feel like Fenix is more in control, like his moves are more well thought out, and we can see now he's transitioning into Arbiters. He's doing well on his macro, keeping his minerals under 500, although he's supply blocked a little bit right now, taking a 4th base at 3 o'clock. I really feel like if he can kind of attack the nerves of Casper, Casper is kind of going to fall apart a little bit.
Yeah, you know, that DT drop that happened in Casper's main, Casper is not even getting another add-on to that factory. He's just making vultures straight up out of all his factories without add-on and just adding on a few tanks. He does have the two armories down, and, you know, he's 1-0, but one of the armories, you know, hasn't even been used yet, and he has to get to the science facility to do any more upgrades. So finally now he's starting to take gas at both his second and third bases. So a little bit of sloppy later game transition there, but you know, he's still at 150 food. He's still doing okay. I mean, he's by no means way behind.
Right, and we keep harping on this, but another thing that reveals the nerves, if we look in these factories, the majority of the factories have nothing or one unit building, and then there's this one that has like 4 vultures queued in it, so that's never a situation you want to be in, and that kind of gives me the sense of a player who's a little bit rattled, just, you know, mashing, trying to get those units out as quick as possible. But he does have a good factory count and a very, very strong economy. So if he can keep this strong push going, which it looks like he's set up to do now, you know, anything can happen, really.
Yeah, we do see some probes getting transferred mid-map to the right, and oh, here comes the push, moving out to the into the center of the map, and the Dragoons are trying to reposition. I really feel like there should be a shuttle with something in it around the corner, but I don't see it. So here comes Fenix. He's moving right in there into Casper's main army, but there are so many vultures there. That huge zealot count is just evaporating. And here's a Templar. Let's see if the storms can pull it off. Oh my god, 2 beautiful storms. A third storm going right down there. Unbelievable. Fenix just crushes this army. Those storms were instrumental to smashing that apart. Oh my god, were those good storms. And the predominantly vulture army of Casper just evaporated.
Yeah, I felt like Fenix had a really, or excuse me, Casper had a really good setup there. Like, he had the right army composition, just didn't lay the mines, and those storms, as you said, just tearing them apart. And the important thing to see here is, if we look at the bottom right, there's a lot of gateways going up. He's clearly going to take that base eventually. I don't think Fenix really needs to try to finish here. He's got 2 Stargates of Arbiters coming. He's basically going to re-max out in 1 or 2 minutes, and that's going to be the attack that Casper is really going to have trouble defending, because as we see, his infrastructure is not that great. He's queued up in a lot of his factories. It's going to be really hard for him to come back at this point. And looks like the Reaver and the Archon going in now, taking out the bottom left expansion. Predominantly Vultures coming in to reinforce that. Tank and Vulture, there's a single tank there. And this Archon getting a lot of kills, 11 kills on the Archon, and finally getting taken out. Reinforcements now with the Arbiter and the Dragoons. Wow, a lot of damage being done here. Casper really needs to dig deep to hold it together here.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I was really thinking that Fenix should pull back, you know, right after he won that attack. But then all of a sudden I saw that Reaver start crawling its way in there. And that really screwed up the mining there. And it looks like Fenix, well aware of the position he's in, just continues to just swarm units up there. We see another 7 units coming straight up from his natural expansion. And if you look at that right side of the map, he is comfortable enough to just continue expanding, doing a great job of macroing. Probes still being made at that right expansion, and more probes being transferred to the right. Very solid play by Fenix.
Yeah, and Fenix is not letting up. He's just streaming units in non-stop, and if you trade armies with someone with a weaker economy, that's very much in your favor. So even if he's getting in fights that don't really favor him, as long as he can keep the army of Fenix down, or excuse me, keep the army of Casper down, then he's winning the game. And we can see he's really putting the hurt on bottom left. Casper having a lot of troubles pushing down there to secure that again.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a huge help. If you can just toss units, it doesn't even matter if it's efficient or not, just as long as you're keeping your opponent's army down, and as a double advantage, you know, Fenix is actually getting to kill off Casper's expansion at the left. And we even see, you know, Fenix getting ready to take that top right expansion. I mean, he's just devouring the map as he's walking over his opponent.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the Terran natural. We can see about 7 idle SCVs, 1 trapped behind the geyser. If we go look at the map, or excuse me, at the main,
no.
there's three trapped SCVs and a lot of idle SCVs. So Casper, I mean, I think it's safe to say he's kind of been cracked here, and we're gonna expect to see GG here anytime. The next attack is probably gonna be the killing blow.
Yeah, I'm hoping that in the next game, you know, because I mean, almost certainly Fenix is just going to be able to do some attack moving in a minute once he replenishes his Dragoon count to clear those mines off. I'm really hoping that in the next game, Casper, you know, he's a little bit calmer. I think always either your first series in a tournament or your first game in a in one of your first sets, that's the one that always goes the worst. I mean, that's the one where you're always, not quite comfortable with how your mouse feels. You do see this counterattack going on with, some vultures and this dropship with tanks, but there are just way too many dragoons there already.
Yeah, so I think, as you said, yeah, I'm hoping Casper kind of settles in. Nice little tank drop here, but that's going to get cleaned up by the A move. And there's the GG. So it looks like Fenix took control of that game fairly easily. And Casper's going to have to find some sort of answer in game 2.